Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to practice sequencing our story. So far you've done step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1 was where we were writing our title or just the topic of what we were writing about. Mine is getting lost while camping. Then we sketched some important information. We sketched who was in our story, what happened in our story just briefly, when our story was taking place, and where our story was taking place. So this is the setting. So the who I just jotted down quickly, dad, mom, me, 80. And then the what, I wrote 80 and I got lost, and I even put scooter because that's how we got lost. And then I wrote for when, summertime during the day, and then campground in Michigan for where. Notice I'm not writing in complete sentences. This is just to help me start thinking back to that memory I'm writing about. Now, I know a personal narrative is a personal story, so it's about me, meaning when I tell this story, I'm not going to use language as if I'm a narrator. I'm not going to say Lauren got lost on her scooter. I'm going to say I got lost on my scooter if I'm writing that. When I start my sequencing of events, I am going to be thinking about what happened at the beginning. We can see on the bottom that we have a section for beginning action, middle action, and ending action. So we start with our beginning. Our beginning is going to be the who is in our story, so introducing the characters, making sure we know where our story is taking place, and kind of letting your readers know what the situation is that your story is going to be about. If you are writing about getting a puppy, you should announce that you're getting a puppy in this part. If you're writing about getting lost while camping, you might not get lost here, but they should at least know that you're going camping in this first section. So watch as I narrate and I go through this for me. I'm going to first think about how I will introduce my characters and setting. So I know that it's my family and we were going camping. So I might start my story by saying, and these are just ideas, I'm going to put one for each of these stars. I might say, family arrives at campground, because that's what we did first. Now, notice I just said family. I didn't have to put everybody's names. I can do that when I'm writing, but for now, this is good enough because this is just going to help me write later. Now, up next, after we got out of our car, when we got to our campsite and our campground, my parents always put up the tent first, and they would make us leave. They did not want us there because we would run around and we would get in the way, and they had to do important things. So they would say, go play somewhere else, go explore. So I'm going to say parents put up tent, and then while they were putting up the tent, 80 and I explored on scooters. This was our first time at this campground. I remember that. So we were really excited to go exploring on our scooters, and we just kept finding these cool giant loops to scooter on. So I'm going to say found cool loops, like where the road was in a circle, to scooter. So that introduces the fact that we're going camping. Adrian and I went on our scooters because my parents were putting up the tent, and I'm just going to do a quick little sketch here. This quick little sketch can help remind me of details that I want to add when I write later. So maybe I put up the tree because I remember the campsites had trees. I put my car because we drove there by car. And then Adrian and I, we got out and we both decided we were going to ride on our scooters. So maybe I put my scooter looked like this, okay? And I remember that there was a loop. Notice this is not super detailed. It's okay though, it's just to help me later on. The middle is where you're going to introduce the problem of your story. Now, if your story doesn't have a problem like mine obviously has a problem, it's where I got lost. The middle is where you might add details. So if you're writing about going to Disney World, this is going to be about where you're telling me about all of the rides you went on. Or if you're telling me about getting a puppy, this is when you saw your puppy and you first started getting to play with your puppy, something like that. So in the middle, I'm thinking I just ended here. Adrian and I are finding cool loops to go on for our scooter, and we just keep going on loops and more loops. And it's so much fun, and I just can't believe how many loops there are. Okay, so Adrian and I are starting to feel amazed, and we think it's so big. This campground is massive. Finally, we decide we should go back and see if the tent is up. So I'll write it. I wrote, amazed, it is big. Is the tent up? And then I said, okay, or when we were there, we thought, is the tent up? We should go back. And at that point, we realized we were lost. So I'm going to write lost, and I'm going to put the word scared, because I know I'm going to add some detail here when I get to this point of my writing. I need to explain how scared I really was. So in my quick little sketch, I'm going to put Adrian and I. Again, nothing fancy. I'm going to put a bunch of loops because we ended up doing a bunch of loops, and our parents were way over here setting up the tent. Okay, so we're lost. That was the middle. Now the ending is where we're trying to solve the problem, or when we're reflecting on the day. I'm going to go turn the lights on while you wait just a second and have a quick little smile, because this is silly. All right, lights are back on. So after we realized we were lost, we were so very scared, we started to trace our steps. We started to think, okay, what can we remember from this loop? What could we connect us to the next loop? So after we were trying to find connections, we saw the water, and we remembered seeing the water a lot of our journey. So we decided to follow the water back. So we knew that we could follow the water back to our campsite. So after we followed the water, we finally saw the tent, meaning we were found. And at the very end, I'm going to think to myself, what did I learn, or what was the big takeaway from this story? I want everyone to know that we were happy, we were safe, and proud of problem solving. If you didn't solve a problem in your story, maybe you learned a lesson. Maybe you learned a lesson that you should always be kind to your siblings, or maybe you learned a lesson that you had to be careful while you were riding your bike, or maybe you learned that Disney World is a lot of fun when you go with your family, or that you are excited to meet a new pet who could be your best friend for life. After that, I'm going to draw my quick little sketch. So we see the water, we take the loops back, and yay, we found our tent. Okay, notice these pictures are just quick sketches. So this is how you would complete that bottom portion, doing your beginning, middle, and end. Notice that I have 4 things under each. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you do too. Good luck.